Okay, and hello to everyone, and thank you for being on this webinar today. Today's topic is about process automation. In this webinar, we will show you how process automation should be led in our ever-changing environments. Not only how to make individual processes faster by automation, but also how to stay fast with the management around the processes. So my name is Nils Leideck, and I'm working for nearly 10 years at OTRS Group. OTRS Group is the manufacturer of service management software, well known as OTRS. In addition to the software itself, we provide implementation and operation services to customers around the globe. Part of this is identifying, defining, building out, and improving processes for almost any kind of automation. So from IT security incident management to billing, I have supported dozens of customers by myself during their conceptual design and implementation. We are having subsidiaries in Brazil, in Mexico, in USA, in Germany, where our headquarters is as well, in Hungary, in Hong Kong, and in Singapore. And we have a very customer success addicted and follow the sun OTRS operations team. So let's have a look at the agenda for today. First, to get everyone on the same page with what we do, we have different experience levels on the call, so we start with some quick terms. Second, we run through the three considerations of preparation, of strategy, and of value. So together, these will take about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we will open it up for questions. So mix of people on the call. So let's start with the basics. What is a process? A process is a series of activities, and it is always leading to a result. So here we have outlined a very simplified order management process. So all that starts with receiving the order, and then someone has to check if the customer has paid already, and if so, then we can ship the item, and then actually, if not, then we have to mark this as pending and do the steps again. So yeah, here it's a little confusing at the end. So just we go to the next slide. And this would be a process diagram. So you might see process diagrams like this quite a lot. Most often nowadays, they are drawn with the BPMN standard, but they are all really the very same thing. And this is the process we have seen on the other slide. So first event that happens and that starts the process is order received. And then someone must check if the customer has paid already. If yes, ship the item, steps completed, we close the order. If that's done, the process ends. And then, if customer hasn't paid, then we have to mark it as pending. And after 1 week, we have to do this check again. Okay, so why would this be useful? And how can this help more than just creating a list of steps? While I was explaining the process here, you probably already thought of dozens of ifs and thens and exceptions and other branches the process would need to follow in your organization. So now try to put all of these together into a list of steps. That will become a tough week. And then if you need to explain it to other people, it will make things more and more complicated. And we did not yet talk about automation, where people from business have to express their process requirements to people from IT in order to implement the automation in the right way. Notations like BPMN and tools like OTRS simplify this challenge a lot. Drawn processes can directly put into action and changes to the diagrams can directly be deployed into production. Okay, let's have a look at some common processes. So every department in your business has processes. Anytime there's a repeatable series of steps and decisions that needs to be made, we are talking about a process. This is just a sample of what might be happening in your business. These are really just the pure basics, and here we already see 17 processes. I recently watched a webinar where a vice president at Coca-Cola was talking about the magnitude of processes that they manage, and it was upwards of 1,500. So our internal BPM team at OTRS has identified a little more than 100 processes, where almost half of them are automated. So what does automation mean, and why would you want to? You can imagine if you have been just given a list of, let's say, 150 steps, that first, it is really hard to follow. People do not understand the big picture then. And second, it is easy for people to skip steps. And this usually leads into unpredictable issues and makes it even harder to do the next steps. There might be information missing in the next steps. Third, it is easy to make wrong decisions. This will require people to often go backwards in the steps or find temporary workarounds. And fourth, after all, it is time consuming. And we all should see time as the most valuable thing we have. Just imagine trying to drive across the United States using a list of steps versus these today's fantastic Google's automated turn-by-turn directions. So which one you think is easier to follow? Which one gives you a much higher comfort and confidence in what to do next? And which one costs you less time? If you ask me, it definitely is not the printed paper with 150 steps. That is why so many tools, OTRS included, they are building automation concepts into their offerings. It is just easier and simpler for people to get things done fast. Okay, let's go through the considerations of process automation. And first, process documentation versus business reality. Have you actually written your processes down? If yes, great. But then stop here to recognize that business models, they change over time. So stop and look at your actual processes. So first, do they still reflect your business today? And second, should they reflect your business, or should they change with and improve your business? Just as an example, look at companies like airlines. They have changed their processes during their automation. If they would have focused on pure automation only, we all would probably get boarding passes printed automatically at entering the airport. Sounds good, but honestly, I haven't used any printed boarding pass in the last couple of years. Instead, I do everything from seat reservation to meal selection on my mobile. I'm using their results of process automation now. Second example, billing. Was once done by sending and receiving paper. Now it's all electronic, done by using PDFs and bank transfers. So here are some rules for your process automation preparation. First, keep automated processes flexible for change. don't use tools that hard code your processes. So no hard coding. And second, do not automate what you have, automate what you really need, and add what is missing, if possible, during the automation. And third, automation is not a one-time job. Automation is part of continuous improvement. And you have to sharpen this saw as often as needed. Only this will make you faster than others. Okay, strategy. Frank Lemser, trainer in Germany, said to me last year that every hour you spend on strategy will save you 2 hours on tactics. I believe in these wisdoms. Another one is like plans are worthless, but planning is everything. So strategy is important. No exception here for process automation. It is really easy to get a new workflow tool and want to dive right in and start demonstrating value with it. But a little planning will go a long way in allowing you to get the value you deserve from it. So here now is a little bit of change management. So first, who will be impacted? Make it transparent. Knowing the stakeholders and their needs is really everything. And second, will the change help them? Always think win-win. Make sure that the automation benefits on one end does not make things slower on another end. So try to look at this in a holistic way. And third, are they receptive? Listen to and understand them first. Only then you can be understood and successfully express the benefits of automation to them. First, will you get management support? Nothing scales better than synergy. So get management on board and find ways to do the process automation together with them. And fifth, should things be changed? Again, do not only automate what you have, automate what you need. And a bad process that you automate, just keep that in mind, is maybe faster, but it's still a bad process. So use that for changing the processes. And quality. Quality matters. So respect people's values, and you can reach a high process quality. Just a few examples here. It is important to identify your business values and then go the next steps. During the strategy part, you should document the core problems and needs, the problems that must be solved by automation. Start with these first. And you can't do everything at once, so make a cost-benefit analysis for every process in question. And last but not least, you should also do a bit of technology analysis to see if you have the right tools and infrastructure, and of course, people available. Okay, I hope this was interesting for you, and thank you very much for listening.
Nils, thank you so much for being here. If there are questions and you want to go ahead and enter those into the chat box, Nils has some additional time and I'm sure he'd be happy to answer those for you. As you may have guessed from his accent, Nils is actually located in Germany, so it's evening for him and we appreciate him taking the time up to do this with us. We'll give it a minute, Nils, and see if anybody's got some questions before we all say goodbye.
Sure.
Oh, And we do actually. A bit of a long one, so I'll read it off. Can everybody see it? I'm not sure. It says, I work for a fairly small marketing company. There are only 25 of us. The idea of process automation seems like it could really help us, particularly in tracking client deliverables, but it sounds like it would take someone a lot of time to do the planning and set it up. What would you say for a company our size? Is this something that's going to be time consuming?
Yeah, that's very good question. The answer is, I think, very easy. It's doing baby steps. So start with the most important process steps. To identify the most important steps, make a list of values you have, like you set your marketing company, like approved website content or compliance, and then look at all the manual steps and maybe duplicated tasks that you have there, and make a plan first for automating only these. That's my recommendation there.
Does that help, Alejandra? Great idea. Great idea, but how do you measure the savings? She says.
Yeah, of course, a tough question. I think we cannot dive into return on investment calculations here right now. What I can recommend is to look at the following. Sorry. It's first you need to get the average costs from controlling about the manual tasks of the processes you want to automate, and then get a rough estimation of time and money needed for the implementation of tools. You can also contact us if you need some figures there, and then get a potential profit if the process would run without errors. So that then will help you to get started with identifying what could be the potential savings.
So sort of comparing what you do today to what you could do in the future. Do we have any other questions before we all bid farewell for today? Oh, we do, I'm sorry. You had one slide about how business changes over time. The thing I wonder about is how easy it is to change. I guess once you get the processes in place, it means you invest all this time and money in doing process automation, but you said yourself that businesses won't stay the same forever.
Yeah, so change, of course, is never easy, but if you keep change in mind from the beginning, you will implement the automation in a way that changes do not turn into an Armageddon for you. So keep the automation flexible and modular from the very first steps. As I said, no hard coding. If needed, then spend more time into the strategy part first, making technology analysis, for instance, and this will save you a lot of time later on.
Can you maybe explain what you mean, Nils, about hard coding? I'm not sure if everybody will know what that is.
Yeah, one of the offerings that we provide is, or the workshops that we provide is evaluation. So we visit customers where they think of replacing their tool with OTRS. And a large amount of them have process tools like programs. So it's maybe done by an in-house programmer, or it was an order to an external company. So, but it's a fixed and hard-coded program that they use to support the processes or to automate processes. And then, of course, if it comes to changes, then there's a lot more to do than just get some people in the meeting room and say, okay, let's look at the process diagram and let's change it with business people. So there needs to be new programming, new modules maybe programmed also. So that is then hard coded. So avoid hard coding and use tools that provide you with configuration options for this.
Thanks, it's great. Any other questions from the audience? Looks like that might be the end of it, Nils. And thank you to everybody who was part of the call today. We really appreciated having you here. Hopefully it was informative. If you've got additional questions after the fact, please feel free to reach out to us. Certainly you can connect on social media or send an email here to sales@OTRS, and I'm sure the team would be happy to answer any additional questions that you've got about process automation or OTRS or service management in general.